Hi, fourth grade. I'm really proud of all of the coil pots that y'all created. Some of them turned out really creative. And I'm really excited to put these in the hallway so that everyone can see. Don't worry, you'll get them back very soon, probably in February or March. So you're gonna be filling out your self-assessment today. So this is kind of like grading yourself. So if you haven't already, you should find a sharpen eraser on your table. If you need to sharpen your pencil, you will need that. Up here is where you're gonna put the artist. So the artist is you. So I'm just gonna write Mr. Boatfield because that is my name. But if you have your own special name, then go ahead and put that. The next thing it's gonna ask you is the title. You get to title this just like you would title like an essay or a report or a book. Just like that, you get to title your art. So I think that this looks kind of like a starfish. This is not my artwork, this is one of my students. I'm gonna put starfish. Now, the next thing it says is I use these tools to create my work of art. Circle or draw. Before we fill this out, before you even look at it, I want you to just go ahead and talk to a neighbor. What are some of the materials that we use for this project? I'll go ahead and give you a moment now. Awesome. So I hope you said things like clay. We use clay. Now, because we don't have it over here, we don't have one of these to circle, we can go ahead and draw clay. So clay, when you got it, looked kind of crazy. So I'm just gonna draw the crazy looking clay. We also used water. And I remember that came in a little cup. So I'm gonna draw some water. What else? We also used maybe a needle. So you could draw the needle if you remember using that. And then some of us decided to use the texture plate. So I'm just gonna draw a square with some crazy lines in it. Texture plates. Ooh. Okay. So the next thing it asks is, I learned that I can. So this could be anything that you learned in the project. And it also is a ... so it does not need to be a complete sentence. Before we answer it, I want you to just answer with a partner and then share with me one thing that you learned. So, for instance, before you start, I learned that I can, well, the easy one would be create a coil pot, but maybe you realize that you can work with clay. Maybe you learned that clay is not your favorite. It could be anything. You could also say that you learned Native Americans use pottery. Go ahead and talk to a neighbor if you haven't already. The next thing that it asks you is questions I asked. This could be anything that you happened during the project you had a question about, or maybe you had a question about just pottery or coil pots in general. It could be something that you really asked me, or it could be something that you just kept to yourself. So one thing that I asked was, what are some other ways to use clay? Now, I don't have an answer to that question. That's something I might think about in the future, but I know it's a question because it has a question mark at the end. What are some other ways to use clay? That could totally be your question. Your question could be anything. The next and last thing is I'm proud of. This is the most important. I really want to know what you're the most proud of. Some people, don't really, maybe didn't like how their coil pot turned out, but everyone can find at least one thing that they can be proud of. Maybe it's how you applied the paint. Maybe it's the texture of your coil pot. Maybe it's how shiny it is. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds of think time. So think time is just quiet time to think to yourself, and then I'll ask you to share with the neighbor. So for 10 seconds, just quietly think about what you're proud of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, go ahead and share with a partner one thing that you're proud of. All right, awesome. When you are done with this, I need this turned in on the middle table. Also, please return your coil pot to the middle so that I can put it out in the front display case. And you are all done for today. Remember, you can choose some free activities. I have dry erase boards, free draw paper, notebook paper, and coloring sheets.